Good afternoon to everybody. I have around 6 slides made up of contents and intend to take around 15 minutes from now. My name is Prakash Rane. I represent my company ABM Knowledgeware Limited. My first slide is about company, so I hope the introduction will get covered there. We are in e-government as our exclusive business for last 12 years. We have been ranked as the top 10 emerging IT companies in India by NASSCOM in year 2009. Currently, we are implementing statewide e-government project for 231 urban local bodies, 231 municipal bodies in Maharashtra with an outlay of around rupees 107 crores, covering 42% of the urban population. What I mean is, once implemented, this e-government project would end up delivering services across the counter to 42% of the urban population in Maharashtra. If I take the current urban population of Maharashtra around 10 crores, so around 4.2 crores are the people who should get positively impacted once this project is successfully implemented. We have also implemented and we are managing rupees 107 crore worth e-government project in Mumbai Municipal Corporation, covering 70% of its functions, which has over 4,000 users and which has a 20,000 crore budget. Our projects are also implemented in Goa, Gujarat, National Capital Region like Municipal Corporation of Delhi and Meghalaya. So that's enough of selling. Now let me come to the business. We have our own way of defining e-government from the perspective of a citizen. We feel it is all about electronic service delivery to citizens. Services, that is citizen services, they are meaningful only if they are time-bound. And time-bound service delivery is possible by blending administrative reforms and ICT. What I mean to say here is, as a citizen, if we expect a service from government, it is necessary for us to know when will I get the service which I expect. If I do not get the service, where should I complain? If my complaint is not redressed, where will it be escalated, and who is the ultimate person to whom I should get my grievances addressed to? This is not possible to duplicate the existing business processes. That means unless you revisit the existing business processes, unless you do certain amount of business process re-engineering, it is not possible for you to get effective citizen services. So this slide emphasizes that if you want to have effective e-government, it is necessary to do the business process re-engineering, blend it with ICT, and that is how we get what could be called as what we are trying to define as the e-government from the perspective of citizen. That's a little complicated slide. If it looks, I'll try and speak it out rather than you looking at it. See, basically, when we say administrative reforms, what we're trying to say is, what is the end objective of administrative reform? Good governance is a subset of e-governance. So you cannot say I'm doing an e-government project. You say I'm doing a good governance project. I'm using e-government as a tool, which is well said. Everybody says it and is almost accepted. But precisely if you want to break it down into a tangible, achievable, tangible task as to what do you mean by doing a administrative reform for achieving effective citizen services, we have tried to highlight certain end objectives which we want to achieve in the process of administrative reforms. First of all, what is the end objective? First end objective, as we have written, is standardization in accepting citizen data for various services. Now, when you go and apply in the same government organization for different services, you might end up filling your passport information, in the sense your personal information, in different forms, different times, many times. So every department might ask you to fill in the same information. This is possible. And now the same information is processed by everybody in a different form. And if one department requires information of another department, in all possibilities, it will ask you to go and fetch it from the other department. I'm describing the worst case scenario. So if you standardize the data acceptance from the citizens, then it is possible that the same information can be extremely well reused You do not have to torture the citizen, nor do you have to generate excessive information. As most of us we have seen, every government is obsessed by collection of data. If government wants you to give anything, it will ask you all kind of data all the times. So there is every form which we see from government. Sometimes, why do you feel we have writers in government offices? The job of a writer in government offices, in certain offices, is to fill in the form for you. First thing you go to government office and they ask you to fill in the form, you start looking around, is there anybody who will take 5, 10, 15 rupees and fill in the form for me? Now, if you look at this beginning, the cutting edge between the citizen and government, you need to simplify that. So what we have done in most of the implementation which we do is we have standardized the formats for application forms. Any information which is common, which is specific to a person, we would collect it only once. And we'll ensure the rest of the departments can share it. Next time, if you want, if you have come again and if you want to really look for your own ID, now citizen ID, UID is going to happen. But what we are trying to do in most of our implementation is, if you have given your name once, and if you key in your name second time, or the help desk keys in your name second time, then your passport information will automatically come up. Second issue which we face in processing of application in government offices, I mean, it's a common, I mean, I don't mean any offense to anybody, but it is said in certain capital states, if you want to know what is the rule, the common word is, show me the man, I will show you the rule. So you need to look at the person before applying a rule to him. Now, without meaning any offense to anybody, what do you need to do here? If you bring some objectivity in the process of scrutiny of the application, at least 80% of the applications will get processed in the same manner, in a manner which everybody would know. If you look at the processes which have been laid down by Britishers 63 years back and much before, they indeed had a lot of objectivity in them, but they had a problem. Their problem was that system was completely lack of faith. The system believed that the Indians who are collecting the data would be doing some kind of they would be betraying the government. So the Britishers' administrative systems were good, but they had an element of distrust and suspicion throughout. But if you standardize the process, so what can best be done about this? So you predefine the scrutiny and predefine the scrutiny path. It's not easy. For example, when we did it in a project called as Kalyan Dombivli Municipal Corporation, which is one of our flagship projects, it's a mid-sized municipal corporation 1 hour away from Mumbai, we revisited 400 business processes. We revisited each and every form that was being filled in. We removed certain annexures which were unnecessary. We standardized certain input forms. So what I'm going to present in a simplistic slide has taken us a lot of efforts to go for, but I think that is irrelevant in the current forum. So we have tried to standardize a format in which a particular application will be formed. See, government, you don't get another thing which I heard often in government is government works for those 15% of the people who break laws. In the sense, the rest of the 85% of the people have most of the time straightforward, simple work with government. I come to you, pay taxes, I want receipt. I come to you, I make affidavit, I want caste certificate. I come to you for a domicile certificate, my child wants to take admission after 12th standard. But if you look at this, it is us, the 85% of the people who want normal services undergo a lot of trouble. We don't have anything in the system, we don't have anything in our application which requires extraordinary scrutiny or a committee to look at your application and to find out whether your application is valid or it is not valid. But there are another 15%, 10% of the people who probably have mischievous intent, who probably misuse the governmental system. Rest of the people actually work for ensuring that these 15% of the people do not go wrong anywhere. They do not take government for a ride. They do not misuse the governmental allocations. So if you really look at that, 85% of the processes required to do our processing of our application are straightforward, do not require extraordinary scrutiny, do not require extraordinary application of mind, but as a result of which, we end up not getting the straightforward service which were otherwise required. The third end objective of process of administrative reform would be optimum utilization of data across different software modules. I was saying this point some time back, every department collects the information, instead of passing it on to each other, I'll take an example which is relevant to municipal corporations. If I need to take NOC for getting a water connection, they would tell me, you please bring no objection certificate that you have paid all the property taxes. In case the system is computerized, you really don't need to run around. That is one simplest example which I could take about optimum utilization.